as our graduates process in. Would you please turn your attention to our flag and join me for the national anthem? For the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm already out of order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you please remain standing for our national anthem? Thank you. You may be seated. Good evening. I'm Gary Bigger. I'm the principal of Renaissance High School. It is with pride in each student's accomplishment that I welcome you to the Renaissance High School's Class of 2021 graduation ceremony. You've arrived at this point in your life ready to put one large accomplishment behind you and step forward with confidence into the next phase of your life. I want to commend you on your perseverance during this unprecedented year to finish your high school career. I believe that if you can get through this high school during a pandemic year, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Many people helped you along the way. I would like to ask that if you are a parent, sibling, grandparent, aunt, uncle, friend to the graduate, would you please stand? The graduates would like to recognize you. There's a few others that might have helped you out along the way, and I just want to kind of recognize, the staff by name, because I feel the necessity to do that. Teachers, Megan Cook, P. Edna Silve, Patricia Hilliker, Jared Lawrence, Kristen Mrozik, Scott Powers, Lindsay Galley, Justin Pintar, Samantha Weensweiss, Chad Mester, Stacy Youngerman, Amy Horvath, Terry Porritt, Keaton McGregor, Jeff Kelly, John Pecco, and Claudia Schermerhorn. That's our staff, and please show them a little round of appreciation. I'd just like to say a couple of words before I invite our first speaker up, and that is that I came here in November of 2019. 4 months later, we went into a shutdown. We shut down schools. It's been a challenging year and a half, a little plus, but I just want to extend my gratitude and thanks to the Board of Education and for the central office leadership that was able to lead us through these times and worked hard, and always, every time we met, every time we talked, it's like, what is the best thing we can do for students? What is the best thing we can do for students? And every decision that we made was made with a good faith effort that we were doing what was best for students. So I just want to make sure that I acknowledge that publicly, because it was a difficult time, and I do appreciate that, so thank you so much. It is my pleasure to invite Kelly Horst, President of the Board of Education, to introduce the board and to share some wise words with us.
Good evening, graduates, parents and family members, teachers and staff, community members, and friends. On behalf of the Board of Education, I welcome you to our favorite night of the year. This is the night that we, and I think I speak for all 7 of us, are proudest to be a Clarkston School Board member. This is the night that we honor the bravest, most resilient students in our school district. I'm looking at 23 graduates with 23 individual pathways to graduation. You have overcome challenges on your way to this moment in time that most students could never imagine, and you triumphed. We are in awe of you. I too am a parent of a graduate this year, and like many of my fellow parents and family members in the audience tonight, my emotions have been all over the map. Pride, joy, anxiety, sadness, frustration, impatience. We felt it all this year, haven't we? We've certainly had lots of time this year to think about this day arriving, and what I have concluded is that we all view time differently. For you graduates, it probably felt this year in particular like time dragged on forever, that this day couldn't come fast enough. But for us, your parents and family members, the last 13 years or more have flown by, even this year. And as happy as we are for you today, what we wouldn't give for just a little more time, to slow things down just a little bit. And really, that's my bit of wisdom, thank you, Mr. Bigger, for you tonight. As time begins to speed up in your lives now, as you move on to college or to begin a career, purposefully slow it down. Don't be so eager to move on to the next step in your lives and the next step and the next step that you forget to enjoy where you are and who you're with and what you're doing. Take it all in, every moment. A young man who's a hero to both my generation and yours summed it up best when he said, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it." Now, Ferris Bueller was using this logic to rationalize the most legendary senior skip day in history, but hopefully you get my point. Thank you. I knew the parents would get that one. Because trust me, there are more than a few grown-ups in those seats back there who can still picture themselves at your age like it was yesterday, and they can't figure out how they got there so quickly. Life moves fast. Don't miss it. Now, one final request before my time is up. As eager as you are at this moment to hit that gas pedal and speed off to your next chapter or for parts unknown, please come home from time to time. We want to hear about your adventures. Our younger students need to know that they can achieve their dreams by seeing what you can accomplish. You are an inspiration to them. Now, even as I'm pleading with you to come home, we know it's time to let you go and become the amazing people that you are destined to be. But remember this, graduates, the people in this room and in this community who have raised you love you, and we always will. So to the class of 2021 of Renaissance High School, the Board of Education wishes you all of the success, love, happiness, joy, and adventure that this life has to offer. Now, it's your time. Congratulations.
I love our next speaker because he consistently says in front of my principal colleagues that Renaissance is his favorite building, and I love that. So at this time, I would like to invite Dr. Sean Ryan, Superintendent of Clarkson Community Schools, to come share with us.
Thank you. I'm not much of a stand behind a podium speech guy. If you guys have caught any of my shows before, I just put a bunch of things in my head, and I hope they come out in somewhat of an order that makes sense. So the key words tonight, first of all, this is non-traditional, and we're in a non-traditional school, so I think it's going to work. But by the end of my little talk, 3 things should be really apparent in your mind. All right? It's going to be Dolphins, the number 24, and the name David Hasselhoff. So first of all, it was great because I saw the blank stares. You guys know who David Hasselhoff is? Okay. Knight Rider? Anybody Knight Rider? Okay. Baywatch. And now I just found out because I looked him on Wikipedia, he was actually in a movie called Sharknado. Didn't catch that one? Supposedly critically acclaimed, awesome movie, right? So strap in, sit back, and enjoy a couple thoughts because the last year has been a whirlwind for all of us, right? And you guys are at the same time culminating on at least a 13-year plus education experience. And when I was trying to reflect my mind over the last year and trying to keep it on the rails, I was thinking along the terms of how are we going to remember this year, especially for our seniors. My God, what a year. And I thought about it in the context of how we make memories. And I thought of it in terms of history and biology, because I used to be a biology teacher, and I have this really interest in history that nobody can understand, especially Mr. Baker in our meetings, because I try to bring stuff and they all look at me just like you guys are looking at me. But the point is, looking at the last year of what we experienced, how do we create memories? And what is history? Well, from a historical perspective, years from now, we're going to read about the great pandemic or the things that we survived, right? We're going to try to go on what we remember. But really, if you ever seen 2 people in the same room and you asked them what just happened 5 minutes later, hardly ever do you get the same memories, right? Now stretch that over a year, 5 years, 10 years, and then you're starting to read books about it. And that's like one person's memory or a couple people's memories. Really, what does it matter? You know, it's one person's idea of what history is. You know, and for us, it's one part emotion, what we experienced and what we saw every day, which made me a little bit more interested in the biological sense of memory. You know, like stuff. Hold on, right between here and here. It's like about 6 inches of gray matter. And somehow that constitutes our memories, our self, our personality, right? And how we carry our things. And it took me recently, I was watching a show on Apple TV called Ted Lasso. You guys, any fans out there? Anyhow, Ted's an internal optimist, and I can kind of identify that. I'm one of those people that really has trouble getting down. I look up most days pretty positive. And when the chips are down, Ted Lasso, he's a soccer coach, and he's with his team, who just had a really bad loss and a terrible season, terrible year. And he asked him, do you guys know what the happiest animal in nature is on this planet? Anybody know what the happiest animal? Anybody see it? What is it? Dolphin? Not a dolphin. Good guess, though. Some reason she had the idea dolphin in her mind. So hold on to that. It's coming later. It's actually the goldfish. Anybody know why the goldfish is the happiest animal in the wild kingdom? Because why? Exactly. A goldfish supposedly has a 10-second memory. So whatever happens in a goldfish's day, by the time it ends it's already forgotten it about 10,000 times. And I don't know about you guys, that brought some memories to me personally, because back when I was a first-year teacher, I was absolutely terrified to talk in front of a class. And it's kind of funny how things kind of change over time. But that first year, to kind of add a little confidence, we had a classroom pet. Surprise, it was a goldfish. And the class first year, and I didn't realize that goldfish can live for 10 or 15 years. I was thinking this was a short-term investment. Class named it, voted on it, and guess what the name was for our goldfish? Take a stab. Nah, David Hasselhoff, guys. We call him the Hoff for short. And the Hoff, you have to understand, talk about memories, he actually lasted twice as long in that classroom as I did. I lasted 6 years. He made it 12, bless his heart, before he kind of gave way to the next world. And in that 6 years that we spent together, I tell you, I've got a tremendous respect for teachers that are in this room and what they survive every day and make happen. But he survived 3 attempts on his life by students, assassinations, several power outages, and he sat through years worth of my boring science lectures. And every day, he was back. He just kept swimming. And I thought, you know what, that's amazing, because bad day or good day, he just kept on going. And I made that connection, not only my remembrances of the Hoff and what he was through, but how that part of our personality can kind of serve us, or how we can link onto that for this past year. Because there's elements. I can tell you that our grads and what they experienced, and our staff, and I'm sure many of you can level with this as well, it was tough times. There's a lot of things that you want to forget. In some aspects, the things we carry with us in our life, I'm going to say they're better forgotten, but sometimes letting go of the emotion and everything behind it makes us happier, makes us more well-adjusted, and allows us to move forward. And I look at even my own daughters who I dropped off at the middle school and junior high and watched them pull up their little masks as I dropped them off in the morning, and you see that kind of sadness in their eyes. I mean, I know what you guys experienced, whether it was you were at home or you were here or you were hybrid or however it was a challenging year. But I ask you guys to be able, at points, to be the goldfish. Be able to let it go. But at the same time, there was a lot of elements in the last year that you need to hold on to forever. Hold on to with every essence of which you are as a person and carry it forward, because it's going to serve you. And that brings me to the other extreme. Anybody know what animal in the wild kingdom, this is kind of a trick question now, has the longest memory detailed, and it's not people? Take a guess now. Dolphins. Dolphins actually have the ability, I Googled it, to have 20 years later from when they hear the whistles of the relationships they have, whether it's dolphin love or dolphin friendship, they carry to where 20 years later they can still recognize those whistles and connect in the dark in the middle of the ocean. And I thought that was pretty amazing. And if you notice, it was between the dolphins. And I think that if you look over the last year, things that would be just amazing to take with you is the idea of the relationships you made and the connections that you kept across all those dark days. Because I bet you can pull out some really positive ones too. I don't know what your thing over the last year might have been. Mine was bread making. I took a lot of abuse of that from my kids, who thought that was so incredibly unoriginal. But hey, they were making bread with me, I was making memories. And I think each one of you guys can connect with that idea that, if it wasn't maybe school that you're going to remember, it might not be something in your science class or something in art, but you're going to remember the people. And that's the part of being the dolphin. And I think as we go through life, we have to kind of be both. And that is my kind of partly words of wisdom to the 24 graduates that we have sitting in front of you. That, we have to know the difference in life of what to take with us and what to let go. And as we go through, don't leave yourself behind. The greatest sadness is not failing, because you can always snap, be the goldfish. It's when we don't try and stretch to become what we can become. That difference in what we are to what our potential is. And what I see here at Renaissance, and I see in these students here, is students that have overcome. And I firmly believe that as they carry these ideas forward with them, it's not about how far you climb sometimes, it's how far you've gone in your journey. And I really encourage you guys, as you look forward into this year, first of all, engage, show up, be present, don't take the easy way out. Continue to look at where your dreams are going to carry you, move forward on them, respect and look to the people who love you and have supported you all the way through. As you heard my board president, and these are all my bosses sitting to the right of me, they care. These are big times for everyone here. Don't let them slip by. Be the dolphin. Know that when you come back or you leave between Clarkston and whatever your dreams are, you always have a place here. When Mr. Bigger said that, Renaissance is my favorite building, I'll tell you why. It's really easy. It's the people, and it's the history of the building. It's beautiful if you look at it from the outside and you go in there as far as where to learn. And if you want to see relationships in action, you want to see a school that gets it done in a way that doesn't necessarily follow the rules or walk in a line, that's where it's at. And whether it's going to take you to have a fish named the Hoff, or looking to the people next to you and knowing that 20 years from now you're still going to remember and keep in touch with them, that's going to be the difference in the end. So I encourage you guys, as you look across tonight, and you take the memories with you as you cross the stage and you graduate from Clarkson schools, and that you look to your families tonight and you're celebrating over the next couple weeks, getting ready to move on to the next steps, that you savor these moments, you celebrate them, and you get ready to move on to your next adventures. All right, so I encourage you, all love in the world. I hope the best for you, your families. I thank the staff. And before I can even let go and pass it on, I need to hear a cheer as far as the Renaissance audience, because I tell you, it's the loudest, most intense as far as being able to make some noise for these graduates, because these 24 have done more over the last couple of years than probably almost any other Clarkson graduates you're going to see. So I don't know if families ever, we can make a little noise for them. Please, guys, nice job. Thank you. That's more like it. So nothing but love, respect, you guys. Good luck. See you around, and don't forget to visit, okay? We appreciate it. As you heard, come back and give everybody else some of your stories. We really appreciate it. Peace.
So I thought about the stuff I wanted to say tonight, and I normally like to talk about things like perseverance and grit and all of those things, and then I thought, well, maybe we ought to just have like a big toilet paper fight to remember the toilet paper shortage. Or maybe we ought to have, like a mask, cutting of some sort to, remember that. And then I thought, well, maybe we need to have like our Chromebook turn into, forget distance learning. And, but then I thought, you know what, we're kind of all sick and tired of talking about that stuff because we've been talking about that for a long time. So I decided instead to tell you a story. So what I need you to do right now is pull your program out. Have we got a program? It's okay. On your program, if you'll notice on the bottom of the second column of graduates, it says Ruth. Ruth, can you stand up for me? Has anyone seen Ruth today? That's because Ruth isn't here. But I want to tell you her story because it's an important story to tell. I got a phone call, I think last fall, from Ruth. And she said, I'm very ill, but I want to graduate high school. And I said, okay. So she wanted to remain anonymous, so Ruth is not really her name. But Ruth was born in 1943. She's 78 years old. And she said, I need to finish high school before I go. And so Terry, bless her heart, spent a few hours down in the basement trying to find Ruth's CA 60 and found it. And Ruth told me that she left school because she was in an abusive home, and she went and got a job, moved in with her boyfriend, and she needed to just get out of that situation. She also informed me that she made sure all of her kids finished high school, and most of them gone on to some sort of a trade school or college. And she informed me that she does not want them to know that she did not finish high school because she never told them. And so then I did some digging in the archives of the web, and I found out what the graduation requirements were if you were going to graduate in 1993, because that's the last time she was in a school. And I'll get a little more into that in a moment. And then I went to Mrs. Youngerman and said, hey, I need you to do a quick credit audit for me. And I handed it to her, and she looked back at me and said, what? I said, let's figure out what she needs to do. We have all her information here. So Mrs. Youngerman and I developed a plan for her to finish high school. As I reviewed these very old documents, I found some things out about Ruth. I found out that she started Clarkston High School in 1987. She was a C student for her first 2.5 years, and then she failed classes second semester of her junior year, and during her senior year, she left school. In 1990, she came to the Clarkston Community Ed to finish her high school credits by preparing for a GED, which is a graduation equivalency degree. She did not complete this program. She enrolled in cosmetology and a program to do medical, and a medical program where she became a surgical assistant and worked for many years. In 1993, she entered the Clarkston Alternative and Adult Education Planned Program. That's a long name. Renaissance High School is much better. On her intake sheet, there's various pieces of information: credits, credits she passed, credits she needed, credits she failed, semesters, when she came, when she left. There's a lot of information in there. But the most important thing that I found in all of that, and it was written right on the sheet with whoever did her intake, was Ruth would like to get her high school diploma. Years later, that was what she wanted. I'm happy to say she finished the plan, and she graduated high school this year. So as weird things happen, I was actually writing this speech, and Mrs. Port came in and said, Carrie, I just got this thank you card from Ruth. Right in the middle of my writing it, and I was just blown away because that's just too weird. But so I read it. I stopped and I read it, and she said, "Your help has given me more happiness than you could possibly imagine." We hadn't heard from Ruth for a while, and we knew she's been ill. So Terry and I were concerned. We called a number of times. I don't even know how many, 5, 7, 8, something, and try to get a hold of her. But we got that note, and that just felt good to know that she's okay right now. I tell you this story for 2 reasons. It's it seems like a sad story, but it's not. But I tell you this story for 2 reasons, and I want these 2 things for you to remember. The first thing I want you to remember is that you may know somebody who's going through some stuff, because we all know people who are going through some stuff. And you need to step in and be a friend. You need to get them to make a phone call. You need to get them to connect to somebody. Whether it's Renaissance, whether it is another school, whether it is whatever they need. You need to step in and be that friend. Because that's an important part of life, is looking out for the person next to us. But the second thing, and I think more important, I tell you the reason, the more important reason I tell you this story is because I want you to understand that people in this world that do not have their high school diploma have a understanding of how valuable it is. It is work, it is effort, and it is valuable, and it is earned and not given. And people get that, and Ruth got that. She understood that. And she understood that for a lot of years while she was raising her kids, and a lot of years while she was working as a medical surgical assistant, and a lot of years as she had realized that she had to quit school and leave. And she realized how valuable that was, and she reached out. And she found people that would help. And that's what I love about Renaissance, is we're people that can help. But there's a lot of great feats to overcome that you've overcome to get your high school diploma. So I want you just to remember Ruth. And that, Ruth wished she was sitting where you're sitting when she was your age. But you did this. You earned it. You did the work. You put in the time. Some of you as recently as today. I won't call you out by name. So, I think that this is the thing I wanted you to know is about Ruth and how much you appreciate that. But the bottom line is, congratulations to the Renaissance High School class of 2021. I'm proud of each and every one of you. I would like to ask our first student speaker to come up. Our first student speaker for today is Skylar Kempf.
Okay, so I don't even like talking, but I don't really know how to start it, but I started at Renaissance back when I was in 9th grade. I wasn't really comfortable with going to the normal high school because of how big it was and the crazy amount of students there. Another big reason for me switching to Renaissance was because my older brother graduated from here a long time ago, and he also loved it. He wouldn't have been able to graduate without the help he got from the staff at RHS. So I thought, why not give it a try? And I can definitely say it was the best decision I ever made when it comes to my education to switch over here. For as long as I can remember, I've always struggled in school and felt like I wasn't getting the help I needed. But the help and support I got from each and every staff member at RHS is unbelievable and amazing. The amount of love, care, and support that Renaissance gives us students makes us feel so comfortable and welcome there. The relationships and bonds we get to build with staff and other students are unforgettable. Don't get me wrong, there were definitely hard and stressful days, but I wouldn't go back and change any of it. There are 2 staff members that I would like to thank so much, and if it wasn't for Miss Youngerman and Miss P, I don't think I'd be standing here on this stage today. Some of my favorite memories are the Thanksgiving dinners and definitely the skinnies, but also the fun groups we got to join and attend. I should probably wrap this up again. All of us students thank you and love you guys and appreciate everything you have done for us. That's it.
I'd like to now invite our second student speaker to come up, and this would be McKenna Zentello.
Good evening, everybody. Most of us know, but for those of us who don't, my name is McKenna. I have attended Renaissance since my freshman year, and throughout these 4 years, I'll admit it, we've all had our ups and downs. But what's so special about Renaissance is that those bad days are just as acceptable as the good ones. There is so much support across the entire building, up and down. Thank you to those who helped me through those tough days, and thank you to those who are part of the good. There was a lot of lessons learned during my time spent at Renaissance, this last year especially. I think we've all learned one of life's most important lessons is that things don't typically go as planned. This pandemic affected us all, some more than others. This entire last year didn't go as expected. We rolled with the punches, we changed it, we adjusted, we adapted. Each and every one of us came out stronger, whether we know it or not. So bless all of us here today, we all deserve a pat on the back. Just recently, I began pursuing my graphic design career, and while I hope that goes well, the world is a beautiful place, and I'd like to devote some time to seeing what it has to offer. I'd like to give a final thank you to all my educators, and if I could name everyone, we'd really be here all day. My friends, my family, I couldn't have done it without you guys, and one last congrats to my classmates and to all of us 2021 graduates. The hard work paid off.
All right, it's the time we've all been waiting for. This is the time where we confer the diplomas. Reading the names is Renaissance very own counselor, Mrs. Youngerman. So if the teacher leaders would please bring the candidates forward.
Annabelle Lynn Bailey. Alicia Nicole Baird. Aaron Joel Blanks. Brianna Rose Essen. Parker Lewis Hubbard. Hunter Timothy Hudson. Chase Kenneth Isro. Skylar Mackenzie Kempf. Corey Jean Michael Kovach. Zachary James Savage. Luke C. Scott. Patrick Ryan Sheehan. Jana Marie Shields. Winter Michael Upson. Shania Ann Wright. McKenna Lynn Zantello. Ava Noel Zapolsky.
Stay standing up. With much love, I'd like to congratulate the class of 2021. In accordance with tradition and circumstance, you may now move your tassel to the left side of your mortarboard. We'd like to thank each of you for joining us tonight, and a last congratulations to the class of 2021 from Renaissance High School. And I would like to ask that our guests please allow the graduates to recess before leaving so that they can get out. And please be sure to pick up your actual diplomas to put into your covers from Mrs. Porra at the end. So congratulations to the Renaissance High School class of 2021.